But, Mr. Secretary, do you acknowledge that both Israeli intelligence officials and U.S. intelligence officials were caught off guard here?
This is an attack that I don't think anyone saw coming in the immediate.
So was it an intelligence failure, Mr. Secretary? Do you acknowledge it was an intelligence failure?
We will have plenty of time to. The Israelis will have plenty of time to look into that. All of us will have time to look into that. The focus now has to be on making sure that Israel has what it needs to deal with this attack and to make sure that its citizens are safe and secure. That's the entire focus. Now, more broadly, we have been intensely concerned about the possibility of violence in the region. We have been working intensely with Israelis and Palestinians and other countries to try to make sure that that was avoided. The challenge is this: we brought Israelis and Palestinians together in Aqaba and Sharm el-Sheikh to make sure that neither took steps that could lead to conflict, and that was an ongoing effort. But Hamas was not involved because Hamas is a terrorist organization. And the difference maker here is you have a terrorist group that's undertaken these actions.
It does seem like this very coordinated attack came out of nowhere. I want our viewers to listen to what the U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said just 9 days ago.
The Middle East region is quieter today than it has been in 2 decades. Now, challenges remain. Iran's nuclear weapons program, the tensions between Israelis and Palestinians, but the amount of time that I have to spend on crisis and conflict in the Middle East today compared to any of my predecessors going back to 9/11 is significantly reduced.
Well, that obviously has changed dramatically, not just for Jake Sullivan, but for all of you. And this isn't specifically about anything that Jake missed, but more broadly about the intelligence failure, not just by the Israelis, but the U.S. What can you say about that?
Well, two things, Donna. First, what Jake Sullivan said was right. If you look at the relationship among countries in the Middle East, you saw, with a lot of work by the United States, countries coming together, the region integrating, hostilities diminishing. And we've been very engaged in pursuing, for example, normalization between Israel and its neighbors, building on what's already been done, including with Saudi Arabia. And other conflicts, like the conflict in Yemen, where we've had a truce now for almost 2 years, have made a huge difference. What happened over the last 24 hours, it doesn't go to state conflict, where Jake is exactly right. It's diminished. This goes to a terrorist attack by a terrorist organization. At the same time, we have been intensely focused on tensions between Israelis and Palestinians. That's why we brought them together in Sharm el-Sheikh and Aqaba to try to get both sides not to engage in acts that could precipitate hostilities, violence. And that, unfortunately, does not include Hamas because it's a terrorist organization. And it took action, as we've seen over the last 24 hours, that has had a terrible impact. But that's what was going on. In terms of the intelligence, there'll be plenty of time in days to come to look and see what anyone missed, what we could have done better. Right now, the focus is on helping Israel, making sure that it has what it needs to deal with this attack.
Understand.